It's been a little while since I've last had a look at a match featuring this Protoss player. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been casting a lot of big tournament games, and as you probably know, the man right over here in the upper right-hand corner in game number 1, he does not attend offline events, but he is one of the very best players when it comes to online events. We're looking inside of the main base of MaxPax. It's going to be really nice to get a refresher, I guess, as to where he's currently at, because the last few times I've seen him play, he looked like an absolute god. His opponent in this particular series, this best of 5 finals, playing at red, playing with the Zerg, we have none other than Solar, of course, one of the world's very best Zerg players. Now, this particular finals, why don't you type GLHF to me? All right, Solar's coming out swinging. You love to see it. This particular best of 5 is the finals of the Wardy Monday number 75. So this is a $400 weekly tournament that the absolute esports legend Wardy has been putting on for, well, quite a few years at this point. It's really nice to see. It's pretty much every single week. There we go. MaxPax. All right, with the deadpan GLHF. Took him like a half minute to respond to that message. Kind of ironic, considering these players play at like 500 actions per minute. Take that long. Maybe he had to find the emoji or something. You can actually click on this little emoji thingy, and I guess he had to scroll through it or something. I'm not sure. Anyhow, we're starting off on the Old Republic. Solar got what he wanted. He, by the way, can't help but notice, also did not GLHF. I guess there's a chance he GLHF'd during the countdown of the game, or maybe that he did so in like the pre-game lobby. It's actually quite common in the pre-game lobby, so there's like a 10-second countdown, right, before the actual game begins, and then when the game loads up, there's another 3-second countdown. It's quite common, actually, for players to be spamming that lobby chat. The classic is 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, right? You get all the 1 attack move, 2 attack move, you get all these hotkey runs, I suppose, out of your system right away to maybe warm up just a tad. Either way, it's going to be a Stargate opener here for Max. No surprise there. And it's going to be a triple Hatchery opener here for Solar. That is one of the things, I guess, with both of these players. They play reasonably predictable styles. What MaxPax is really good at is playing normal StarCraft. I know. He's just... And that's a bit of a theme, I guess, with all of the top 10 players in StarCraft 2. Not many of them play very spicy. I mean, look, maybe with Protoss specifically, the #1 Protoss on the planet is Hero at this point in time. MaxPax actually held that position for a little bit. But anyways, Hero, of course, is by far the spiciest player in the top 10. So it's not like you can't play Protoss like it. But, well, Hero is he's a unique player, let's say. Very entertaining. But I don't think MaxPax's playstyle is very reminiscent of that. Although, it would be useful. Ooh, nice little Spore Crawler morph. It would be useful if he starts mixing in maybe a little bit of that as well. It's actually going to be an Adept into a Stalker, so not opting to go for the double Adept opener. Instead, he really wants to be hunting down Otto. Goodbye, Otto. May you live... Well... I was going to say, may you live in peace, but that makes no sense. May you die in peace, Otto. You lived for about 3.5 minutes. Not a great record, I will say. Looks like the Zerglings are aiming for revenge, but some of them are going to get sacrificed as well. Ultimately, yeah... Alright, they will finish the job. The Pulsar Beam had to be activated. The Oracle, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, though, has been deflected beautifully. Oh, Spore! 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 Oh, I didn't make the Spore. Alright, well, it's been deflected really nicely regardless. A little bit too much damage taken here already on that Oracle, honestly. And while a single drone is nice, it is nothing to write home about. Now, even though MaxPax plays a very conventional style, I would say the same really is true as well for Solar. Although Solar has been mixing in a little bit more spice lately. It seems to me that basically no Zerg player at the pro level right now is fond of, like, Overlord all-ins. Solar does it all the time. Solar likes to go for Overlord all-ins like game after game after game. As we see 2 more drones going down to the Oracles. 4th Hatchery in the meantime already coming up. So I guess that is something to keep in mind right here for Solar. But Solar is not somebody who will really go for like a... I don't know, like a proxy Hatchery cheese or like a Baneling bust or a Roach Rush or anything along those lines. Lovely movement here so far, though, by the Protoss player. It's absolutely critical to not lose a whole lot of units here as the Protoss, because you just don't have that many. You can very quickly get overwhelmed. But so far, the positioning is excellent. Follow-up here is going to be Blink together with +1. Now, what MaxPax usually is very fond of with this Stalker follow-up is to actually move out when the Blink upgrade is like 70, maybe 80% of the way done. It's a little risky, technically speaking, but I'm a big fan. I think it's very interesting to see the Zerg player respond to it. So you go for this like timing attack, but then you actually push before the upgrade is finished. Is he gonna mix that in right now too? Because he's already been preparing some Stalkers. In the meantime, the lair is done. Solar decides to go for a Spire. Zergling still running around. Solar not opting to go for a quick +1 melee, which he is usually also very happy to go ahead and get. Yeah, the Stalker positioning here is solid. It looks like MaxPax is gonna slow down the move out a little bit, so not quite opting to go as early as I expected him to, but he will still move out. Templar Archives on the back of this, +1 melee as well. Solar did fire up the Glio Reconstitution upgrade for a little bit, but decided to cancel it. I guess when he saw that it was a Stalker follow-up, he decided that he didn't need it. But now it does mean that he will not have a whole lot of units available to deal with the Stalker push. +1 melee links are really good, but the +1 melee here is not lined up with the Blink upgrade. So that means that these Stalkers are going to be able to put on a bunch of pressure. Eventually, I guess you can get enough links out. Nice little triggering right there of the Stasis Ward. But it is going to certainly take a while. Solar, though, is going to already finish up that Spire. Mutalisks will be flapping their little wings here momentarily. He's been saving up a ridiculous amount of gas. It's still a little risky, though. Like, these Stalkers at the front can actually hurt. You really would like to hide here as the Zerg player, the Mutalisks at all. But MaxPax may just accidentally face-check them with the Stalker. I mean, he's right next to where a bunch of them are going to spawn. Maybe he's going to get unlucky and he will walk away just barely in time. But nope, he will see right now. And this is really good for the Protoss. Not only is he already making the right units, now he's also going to be able to prepare static defense. Starting up a photon cannon in each mineral line certainly is the right call. He already did go into High Templar, so Archons are another really useful tool here. And while a couple of the Oracles here do take a bit of a beating, so one of them ended up falling, I think this is about as good as you can really have it here as MaxPax. Then again, though, now we have to shift gears and we have to go and play defensively. And it's never easy, man. This is so many Mutalisks, too. You know what? We immediately have enough Mutas to just start targeting the static defense down and even go after some of the Stalkers. Wait a second. Did Solar just save up enough resources to immediately start popping off? In the meantime, I mean, one of the reasons why this is working out so well, MaxPax is on the other side of the map. Killed the 4th hatchery there of the Zerg, decides to recall the units back to the natural, blinks underneath, but already so many probes have died. Looks like not all of the Protoss units did make their way back with that recall. More and more workers will fall. I wonder if maybe these units will also end up dying, but this has been a pretty dang successful Muta opener so far here by Solar. Much better than I thought it was going to be, honestly. You gotta respect the flippy flappies. Even when technically Protoss has all the answers, there are still a lot of units out. And obviously they deal quite a bit of damage when they can clump up together like that. Solar did retake a 4th hatchery right now over on the right. What about the Stalkers intercepting the Mutas? This is brilliant for Max. Yep, he's gonna get a bunch of the units, basically for free. Now, there are multiple packs of Mutalisks flying around, so a couple different control groups here for Solar. These 3, I guess, have been written off for now. Maybe they can join in again with the main army later on. MaxPax here forced to remake the workers, and that has me a little bit concerned. He lost 21 probes in total, which is a very significant portion of his economy, but rather than defending at home, he's just constantly out on the map. Unwilling to give Solar the map control that Solar is aiming for. Now, these drones are going to spoil the surprise of a new hatchery right on the right side of the map. The new group of Mutalisks going in yet again. Normally, they're used as an harassment tool, but Solar wants to be fighting the army with it instead. Drones are dying right now, and we may just be setting ourselves up for a bit of a base race. Keep in mind, the win condition in a game of StarCraft 2, it does not depend on the armies. The only thing that matters is that all structures die. If you lose all of your structures, you lose the game. Structure staff is going to be critical right now because we already have the Lings nibbling away at whatever they can hit, and likewise we see Mutas doing the same thing in the natural expansion. Stalkers here are pushing through. We have a bunch of the units trying their best as well to finish off leftover buildings here of the Zerg. This is one of the downsides, I guess, of playing the Zerg, right? You just don't have nearly as many structures as the Protoss usually does. A couple of Archons here are being morphed in a natural expansion, but suddenly the entire mineral, or the entire mini-map rather, is, it is blinking. That being said, MaxPax decides to go home. Both players lose a ridiculous amount of economy here. 47 drones, 57 probes, and I don't think we've quite caught the tail end of it just yet. Was that recall of MaxPax the smart thing to do, though? Because he lost his third, he lost his fourth. This hatchery over here on the right is now spotted. MaxPax, though, doesn't have energy to really activate it. He decides to, at the very least, save the energy to maybe kill some more Lings. Mutas are thinking about engaging against those Archons. It's a very dangerous thing to do because these Protoss units do deal splash damage, but he has so many Lings and so many Mutas that I think he is gonna be able to clutch the win despite losing 56 drones. GG. Okay, game number 2. I've got an important question. Is MaxPax going to GLHF? I mean, Solar requested it politely in the previous game. Oh! He did it! Alrighty. Solar says thanks. It's the right thing to do. He didn't GLHF back. He did not really return the favor, although I guess there's again a chance that he already GLHF'd before the game began. This is like a one-sided handshake, you know? It's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's like a handshake where you don't actually close your hand at all. It's just like a fully open hand. You just kind of... Anyways. MaxPax, though, is going to be doing the thing. I actually remember that MaxPax usually he GLHFs before the game begins. So usually he starts the game with a GLHF during the countdown, which means that it does not show up in the actual game that I'm casting. So, I guess StarCraft 2 is kind of hanging together by some spaghetti code. Basically, when they first made the game, there was no countdown at the start of a match. And then later on, they added it in, but those additional seconds are not quite part of the replay, I guess. Although, if you hit the back button a bunch of times at, like, minute 0, so if I start the replay and I hit back, sometimes it doesn't work, but if you hit back a bunch of times, suddenly it will show countdown chat. I don't really know. It's a confusing game sometimes, but it works. And I guess we shouldn't complain too much because, well, this lovely video game has now been around for nearly 16 years. 16 years! You know, one of the crazy things is that I've been playing this game for so long that it kind of feels like second nature to me. But we've now gotten to the point where many pro gamers that I regularly cast games off, probably like, for example, MaxPax, do not remember Wings of Liberty. They never played Heart of the Swarm. They don't know what a Mothership Core is. They don't know what the Locusts are like when you just burrow your Swarm host, right? They don't remember the Brute Lord Infester meta. They don't even know what Steps of War or Lost Temple is. Am I old? Kids these... Now, I don't know if MaxPax specifically here. Maybe MaxPax does, but anyways. Maybe I'm the boomer, you know? Maybe I'm the boomer. But it is certainly... Yeah, it is certainly worth noting, right, that StarCraft 2 has been around for such a long time right now that we get these pretty interesting dynamics. I learned not too long ago that apparently in Formula 1, Fernando Alonso has apparently been racing in Formula 1 for such a long time already that he was part of F1 before some of the current racers, so some of his fellow competitors, were even born. Some of the youngest drivers at this point in time are like 18, 19 years old. And Fernando has been racing in Formula 1 for longer than that. So, yeah, it's an entirely different era. Oh, he's still competitive, even if his car is not. Anyways, that's a discussion for another time. We go into an Oracle start here yet again. It is going to be a Adept into a Stalker, this time around too. Otto, I'm afraid to break it to you, buddy. But even though you are, yeah, you are looking beautiful and handsome, and your tentacles have never looked more polished, you're also dead. Congratulations. Tough luck. The first race of the Formula 1 season was actually, well, this weekend, as I'm casting this. This previous weekend. And normally, I don't really get to watch the race in Australia. First race of the season is in Australia this time around. And normally, the Australian race is just at, like, a horrible timing. But I will say that having a newborn... I mean, Bella came in clutch. Normally, I can't watch the race without, like, setting an alarm. But Bella was the alarm this time around. So shout out to Bella. I did get to watch the race live, and it was actually very entertaining. All right, Lair coming up right here for Solar. 4.5 minutes in. Not opting to go for the +1 melee upgrade early on again. So I wonder... Normally, he's a really big fan of the +1 melee research. What are we doing? He's taking extra gases right here. No Spore over at the 3rd. 4th Hatchery coming up nice and early yet again. The Oracle is swooping around, trying to get some value in. 2 Adepts do get over here. Ah, okay. I think this is an Overlord drop all-in, isn't it? Or it could be. The very quick Overlord speed and the lack of a +1 melee, it's throwing me off a little bit. Like I mentioned earlier, Solar is a big fan of it, but the problem is these 2 Adepts, man. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yeah, that's phenomenal. 10 drones? Oh, make it 11. Well, 11 workers is too much. Now, what was previously maybe dedicated pressure, it is going to be forcing Solar into an all-in. It's still something, though, that can deal damage, right? So he's already morphing in a Dropper Lord here. The Queens are going to be sitting in their private jets, and they're going to be getting across ASAP. Brenda, hey, hop in. I guess this is one of the advantages of a private jet. Brenda doesn't care. As a matter of fact, there's no room for Brenda. She's too thick. Oh, well. That's why we love her. We have a Stalker counterattack in the meantime. MaxPax needs to be very careful. There is, again, a Stalker on hold position. MaxPax, though, is going to lose his Cyber Core. Solar is trying to target that down. Losing the Cyber Core means no more Stalkers. It's a weird thing to do. He's actually not targeting anymore, but Solar did already soften it. Now the Queens arrive together with the Roaches, and you know what? The Cyber Core will fall. 4th Hatchery here is going to stay alive because we had a recall triggered for Max, who now has his army inside of the main base. The problem, though, is that Solar lost so much economy. If you look at the worker count right here, MaxPax has got a very significant advantage, but he doesn't have charge, and he does not have a Cyber Core. He needs to actually restart up a Cyber Core. I don't know if he's realized it yet. I guess he has. He's just decided not to morph in any additional gateway units for now. He is trying to get an Immortal out, trying to get another Oracle going, too. Zealot over here trying its absolute best to keep this Zerg army at bay. Robo facility unpowered, and Solar seems to be slowly gobbling up this Protoss player from the inside out. Oracles in the main base, though, are really pushing all of this very nicely. Another pylon will get sniped. This one is not in range of the Robo facility, so still that Immortal is not going to fall. MaxPax honestly doing a really nice job with the dancing so far. Oh, we're loading the Queens back in. No, we're loading the Ravagers back in. That's a misclick and a half. New Oracle is available right now. Cyber Core 2.0 is about 3/4 of the way done. MaxPax is really good at dancing. Like, so far, the losses are not great. I think he's still in trouble. Yeah, no, it's still too much. Yeah. Losing the Nexus sucks, right? But he has really deflected the Zerglings over at the 3rd and then into the main base, too. Keep in mind, though, that Solar is, for all intents and purposes, all in. I mean, he can go back and macro his way out of this. And I think he's gonna have to, because there's just barely enough Stalkers available, it seems, to clean all of this up. MaxPax still has resources in the bank as well. Charge is coming. Yeah. How much do we hate this? How much do we hate this for Protoss? Honestly, MaxPax is really scary still. Like, most Protoss players will fall apart from this position. It's a difficult spot to play from. But he's at 46 workers. If honestly those 2 Adepts did not kill 10 drones, or 11 drones earlier, this would have been a landslide win for Solar. Right now, because of those 2 hero adepts, MaxPax is actually still in this. He's gonna go for the counter. He restarts up the natural. Charge is going to be done here soon. Him moving out right now is making it impossible for Solar to drone. If Solar were to make additional workers here, he could be in a world of trouble. Zergling counterattack. Looks like we're gonna go for wave number 2. Solar does not give up on this. MaxPax would love to go into something like Psionic Storm. He would love to go into something like Colossus or Skytools or whatever. But I think not doing so, I mean, he's getting Psystorm research now, but it's expensive, man. Takes a long time to get going. If he now also dedicates a significant amount of resources to High Templar already. Yep, he's making 1. Those units may be entirely pointless when Solar goes again. And this time around, is Brenda coming? Oh, it's over now. Brenda's on her way. Previously, that fight was okay without Brenda in it, but now she's leading the charge. If this is indeed Brenda, I don't know. She and her sisters look remarkably similar. All right, we have an Overlord Highway, though, coming across the map, it seems. Little Zealot run by here. I love this for Max. Charge is done at this point. He tries to buy more time for the Psystorm upgrade to likewise also finish. I think sending in these Zealots as a counter is really sweet. There's very few units available at this point in time, and it's going to create chaos. Likewise as well, though, we have Lings moving into the main base. And here's the Roach Ravager Queen Ling push. Storms are available in just a second time, though, and that will make life better. But is it ideal? In the meantime, the Zealots are trying their absolute best. Likewise, the Lings are also hitting pretty hard. Storms are being used here to zone away that Zerg army, but Solar just has so many units. For the majority of this fight, he's had a near 50 supply advantage, and Roaches have a lot of HP, so they don't really care that much about the Storm. That's another Stasis Ward not really achieving its intended goal. 8 probes end up going down. Zealots, in the meantime, are being reinforced, and they're being sent in once again. Only a handful of drones have fallen so far, and more probes are dying. I think the 3rd Nexus is going to be next, and this is just so tough. For the Protoss player from Denmark, what are you gonna do? Maybe he can hold again, but it's so many losses. That's now the 2nd Nexus he's lost this game. In the meantime, Solar has been sitting on 4 hatch for a while. Although, to be fair, we have a bit of a repeat of what I've been talking about previously, but just like when the natural expansion fell, MaxPax is not in a horrible position because Solar's work account is terrible. Those 2 adepts from the early game that got 11 worker kills are keeping MaxPax in this match. Solar, by the way, is starting to mix in a few workers again here and there, but this has been 98% unit production for like the last 8 minutes. More corrosive balls being planted down, but not really hitting that much. I mean, we are getting to the point now where this is like a mid-game Protoss army going up against an early-game Zerg army, right? Like, Psystorm is still a banger here. Those Oracles are also just hitting away. 19 confirmed kills. Soon to be 20 if this Oracle has enough energy for it. That's pretty sick. What about the other one? Gets an energy recharge. This one has 6. Not bad, though. Revelation here used with that newly found energy. And I guess he's going to retake the 3rd. And now as the dust settles... Actually, he retakes it on the left. He's got High Templar in the mix again. I have seen Solar in this situation multiple times before, where he appears to be winning, but this is still a playable spot for Protoss. Solar has been effectively on like a little bit over 2 base economy now for the majority of this game. And sure, he may have killed the 3rd Nexus now of MaxPax twice over. MaxPax's micro has been solid, his cost efficiency has been noted. And he is getting, like, the High Templar investment is going to be paying off dividends here very soon, I think, with the next fight. There's going to be a lot of Storms available. Solar still making non-stop army. I wonder if he should just make, like, a big round of drones, man. If Solar was sitting at, like, 60, maybe 70 workers here, this would have been a landslide win. But now it's just kind of more of the same, and I'm a little afraid that he's gonna fizzle out. Now, he still has a 52 supply advantage. That is significant. Zealots in the top section of the map are going to get sniped as well by the hit squad of roaches, so no counter-attack potential there for at least a little bit. Are we going to use storms on the ramp? I think that is the plan. Another overlord making its way across. The roaches and the lings are now starting to work away at the next potential third base. MaxPax squeezed out a few more probes. He's going to get a Ravager here and a really juicy storm. Ooh, to start things off. A little bit of distraction. Another beauty of a storm. Ooh. That's hot. Oracles here? Man, those oracles are so sweet. I wonder if we should just make a dozen oracles. It's not even a terrible idea. He did make more originally, right? Like, he lost 2 of them. Yeah, he made 4 oracles in total. Lings and roaches now run into the main base. MaxPax has been on his last legs for a very long time, but honestly, he's doing a phenomenal job. Seriously, he's not falling apart. And now we're getting to the point where Solar's pushes start to feel a little bit desperate. You always have the choice, though, Solar, to go back to droning. He never does. He never does, and I think it's sometimes to his own detriment. Solar tends to get a little bit tunnel visioned, I think, on, like, getting the job done. Splitting up his units over here. Stalkers blink after it. What about the army over here on the left? Well, it's being zoned away by more and more Psy Storms. Just 3 High Templar effectively keeping this army at bay there for a little while Solar decided to go and push over here. The Stalkers cleaned up a lot of roaches. The supply count is evening. +2 attacks as well here for that Protoss army, whereas Solar does not have any upgrades at all. Oh, I think Solar may be shooting himself in the foot here. This is 100% Solar's game to win, but MaxPax is not going to go down without a fight. And honestly, we're like 1 good punch away from MaxPax being squarely back in this match. We have a little bit of an Oracle counterattack too, going after the drones on that newly made undefended mineral line. Both players lose a lot of workers, but that's beneficial for the, well, the units that are more powerful here, aka the High Templar, and more storms go down. Solar's supply advantage has completely been diminished. Now we see MaxPax blinking in. A lot of red HP Stalker, or a lot of red HP Roaches, rather, together with Ravagers, and MaxPax clutches the win. Alrighty, that takes us to the beautiful map, 10,000 feet. What about the GLHF meta? Let's discuss the important things in this game. What about the GLHFs? Oh, we get silence from... Never mind. We get silence from both of them? MaxPax is asking, do you want a GLHF? I don't care, whatever you want. I think Solar, after that previous match... Am I just getting a little undertone of a little bit of salt? Okay, I think you need it. GLHF. Hey, got him. Solar, by the way, one of the Koreans in SC2 that does speak fluent English. At previous SC2 tournaments, he has kind of functioned, I guess, as the Korean translator. Very nice guy. But yeah, it's, you know, it's very common at offline SC2 events, right? To have little, it's kind of like high school in a way, right? You have like little groups of players that kind of tend to stick together. And naturally the Koreans kind of tend to stick together because, well, even though many of them do speak English, I guess it's, when you're not like forced to talk another language regularly, there is this weird like awkward thing. It's the same in the Netherlands. Even though most people in this country will speak English, pretty much everybody does. A lot of people aren't necessarily comfortable talking it, you know? And I guess the Korean pro gamers will have reasonable English at the very least. They'll be able to understand English at a basic level, but not quite to a point where many of them will happily be talking to everybody else, I guess. But either way, Solar has oftentimes sort of been like that bridge. Very much so able to hang out with anybody because, well, he speaks both languages fluently. Likewise, of course, pretty much none of the English-speaking StarCraft players will actually speak Korean. There are some, but that's mostly the guys and the gals that live over in Korea and that actually Wasn't it Scarlet actually that like speaks fluent Chinese? There was like a Chinese tournament recently. I don't know if she like rehearsed it or it kind of sounded to me, as somebody who knows absolutely nothing about the Chinese language, it kind of sounded to me like she spoke perfect Chinese, which is there's like certain like, believe it or not, programmers are generally speaking very intelligent people, right? Like they're very good at what they do, but they're also hyper specialized. But then there are a bunch that just have these like very specific skills. Like there's probably one of the I don't know who, but there's probably one that can juggle like 12 balls or something. You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Languages, games, and all the other adjacent. There's probably a Rubik's Cube nerd that also plays StarCraft 2 professionally. They can do like a Rubik's Cube in like 6 seconds. Or is that good? I don't even know. There's probably multiples. Apparently, I heard that Wardy is very good at darts. I've never seen him play darts, but I've known Wardy for years. How does that work? I have no idea. Anyways, it's going to be an Oracle here on the back of it. This time around, we have Maxi starting off with triple Adepts. And you know what that means? Auto is save. Yes! The absolute legend. Otto is safe. Well, at least for now. He'll probably die later. Don't get too attached to him. Cyril is a big fan of golfing. Cyril does a lot of golfing. But, you know, he can afford it. So... not necessarily the case for all the programmers out there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about golfing, but I heard it's expensive. Oracle comes through right now. Single drone has gone down thus far. Couple Adepts are sneaking around the side again. These are basically the 2 Adepts that we had in the previous game that ended up allowing MaxPax to win about 10 minutes down the line. He would love to have a repeat of 11 worker kills. Ah, didn't get any. Unlucky. Oracle swoops into the natural expansion. There's nothing to kill. You've already murdered it. Oh. Oracle is over here now, though. I do have to compliment MaxPax's early game unit control. I mean, of course, I say that while he while he very nearly loses the Oracle. But I've seen so many games of PvZ where like this was some of the worst micro he's done this entire series. Maybe a bad moment to bring this up. But anyways, I've seen so many Protoss versus Zerg games where Protoss loses the first 2 Adepts and they achieve nothing, and it just kind of turns into a bit of a disaster. And you know what? Solar agrees that this is a bit of a disaster, because even though he did go for a lair, we're going proxy hatch to spawn a little bit of creep? Is this just for Brenda, Karen, and Margaret to go for a private toilet? What a beautiful thing. Solar provides for his ladies. You love to see it. This is going to spawn creep around itself. Obviously, the creep does recede right after you kill the hatch, but that is a cute little play that we rarely see, and it's gonna allow Solar a lot of pushing potential. The 3rd Nexus is already dead. I mean, it's still alive, but it's already dead. We're gonna do it again. Oh, I love it. This queen trick is awesome. Cancel it. Give Brenda her chance. There she goes. You do have to be quick, because it does recede very rapidly. This is now going to allow Solar to keep pushing this and basically to keep sieging this location. The drone is going to go back home, it seems. Keep in mind that queens can only use their transfusion ability on creep, so that's the big advantage here. And obviously you get more movement speed and vision and all the rest of it too. MaxPax, I mean, this is kind of like the equivalent of digging a moat around your opponent's base. MaxPax is kind of stuck. He's going to lose a gateway over here. The Cyber Core is already gone, although he's much quicker on rebuilding it this time around. Solar is just going to continue the all-in. And look at the minimap now. We have a perfect Zerg highway straight from the Zerg's main base to the natural of the Protoss. A Zerg porta potty. It's a beautiful thing. +1 attacks finishing up again for Max. And he's already shown us some phenomenal defensive micro in that previous game. And this is not Protoss player... or the Protoss player here in like it's a bad spot, don't get me wrong, but this is still kind of like the previous game, a playable location for him because it's 45 workers versus 37. Solar is not on a lair tech all-in. He's not on like a 60 worker all-in. This is all on Hatchery, and he doesn't really have much of a follow-up plan. The mineral line here of Protoss is completely unharmed. And while a bunch of gateways have died, we have a third Nexus being snuck out in the bottom left-hand corner. MaxPax is still fighting. And he's so freaking good at just microing these units. Yeah, just micro your army better. You lose StarCraft matches? Have you considered controlling your units better? Just... Are you stupid? Why would you not get more... Auto? No, not auto. Okay, well... Lair coming up now for Solar. Solar did, by the way, squeeze out a pretty big round of drones. So now we're up to 51. Does he know about the proxy? He does not. Nexus in the bottom left-hand corner, completely unscouted. He's going to check maybe the alternative locations, but in the meantime, the Stalkers do not enjoy the highway at all. This is a highway to hell, according to MaxPax. Solar trying to push through. A couple of corrosive biles are clumped together yet again. That rarely works. And now the counterattack is going to be devastating, man. Like, we have +1 attack, and we have no upgrades at all. Evo Chamber coming up right now for Solar, but Zerg is completely unupgraded. Normally, I see Solar actually going for quite a few macro games, but apparently not too fond pulling something like that off against the likes of MaxPax. Or at the very least, he's going for a lot of aggressive strategies this time around. Now, the corrosive bile positioning is solid. Slowly but surely, though, MaxPax is poking away at those units. And as long as he keeps blinking back the weakened Stalkers, he doesn't really lose any of them here. He's just getting, well, kill after kill after kill. We have a Zergling counterattack. In the meantime, the proxy Nexus in the far bottom left is up and running. Solar does not know about it at all. The economies of both of these players are pretty much identical, but MaxPax has the far more microable army. He's got better upgrades. He's got better unit micro here in general. GG. And that takes us to the map Tourmaline, where apparently my scoreboard is upside down. Wait, what? Solar's... Wait, hold up. Let me slam the back button. Ah, see? MaxPax did GLHF this time around during the countdown. And Solar says thanks. Alright. I think we can fast forward a little bit, right? Because we have seen what the early game of Protoss versus Zerg is all about. It seems like MaxPax is not really cheesable. It's a little bit sad, I'm sure, if you're Solar. But MaxPax's defensive skills have been ridiculous. Can't help but notice, by the way, that Solar has not GLHF'd a single time. So he was complaining about MaxPax not GLHFing. But he has not... Never mind. I guess it's not important. Got ourselves a Nexus on the low ground here. Once more with a cybernetics core. And you can see why MaxPax is very fond of just that. Oh. Dude, what's going on in the chat? No lag. I jumped. Nope. To 500 ping. Give me 3 seconds. Blizzard server issue. Not my problem. Zero fault. Poop emoji. Going down now. Go. Ready. All right. Excellent. Man, Solar's in a bit of a mood today, right? Like, normally he doesn't say anything in the in-game chat. GLHF and GG is basically the only thing we get today, or usually, but... We see a lot of chatter from, like, Bjorn and Maru and all the rest of it. Solar embracing the GLHF meta. But anyways, it's nice to see MaxPax just go for this same build over and over and over again, and it basically not being stoppable, right? The reason he plays the same build order is because it doesn't really have any crazy weaknesses, assuming your micro is God tier. Yeah, and that's, I think, where a lot of players will fall short. It's kind of like Warcraft 3, you know? Like, good players will be able to win with one hero, and one hero alone. Solar, what are you doing? What was that, man? He's trying to be sneaky with the Zerglings, and he posted a bunch of thinking emojis? Maybe there was still more lag or something? I don't know. I have no clue. Anyways, it's going to be an Oracle here first once again for Max. MaxPax, by the way, does not seem like somebody that's going to be distracted by this sort of thing whatsoever. I would not have actually been surprised at all if MaxPax didn't talk whatsoever at all. Like, he just didn't respond to any of the debate. Now, obviously, a little bit of banter is always nice. You don't have to respond. You don't have to say anything. There are some players that will just straight up refuse to talk in the in-game chat. Nice movement here yet again, though, by Max. Like, his early game unit micro is honestly really nice. In StarCraft 1, during the Kespa days, there were actually very strict rules as to what could and could not be said in the in-game chat. And basically what it came down to, as we have the Oracle getting pushed away, basically what it came down to is that you couldn't talk at all. Like, you were allowed to say GG, and that was about it. If you said anything else, you had a chance to just be straight up disqualified from the entire tournament. Now, those games were also televised, I guess, on national television. So maybe they were just trying to be safe. I don't know. But they were very harsh about it. A little bit too harsh, if you ask me. There's already... it's difficult to really have, you know, any personality shine through in a game of SC2. It's very easy to become just like a faceless pro gamer, I suppose, right? In the sense that, like, nobody really... Like, we don't have player cameras here. We don't really get a lot of chatter usually. So I think it's nice to have at least a little bit of that, but... It's going to be charged, by the way, this time around here for Max. So rather than going into the good old blink, he's going for the charge first. And this is an upgrade that Hero is very, very fond of. Hero does this exact build very often. This is likely going to be an Archon Zealot all-in. +1 melee is coming up for Solar here at a normal time. This is excellent against a Stalker opener. But this is also the rock, paper, scissors that we see sometimes in Protoss vs. Zerg. Where, yes, this is really good against the conventional Protoss start. So against Blink Stalker openers, the +1 melee is phenomenal. But against, against a charge slot opener, it really is not optimal. You'd prefer having +1 missile and roaches. It's going to be a Ling Bane bust, though. Solar has been hyper-aggressive for such a long time already. It all comes down to the actual fight. Prism, I mean, you would love to have it over at the third base. Those probes are gonna have to run. Do we send it over here in time? The probes do indeed try to squeeze to the natural expansion. Only 2 of them have gone down thus far. In the meantime, the Prism is actually going across. Reinforcing Protoss units, though. Excellent force field here. They're not really achieving that many kills. I can't believe MaxPax actually did not even bother sending those Archons in the direction of the Lynx. They're like the perfect unit to clean all of this up. But Solar has only lost a handful of workers. Now, he did apparently lose a bunch of additional ones as I panned the camera away. But this is still a very scary set of army here for Solar to defend against. There's going to be a lot more Zealots if the Prism finds a location to warp in additional troops. Nice body blocking over here with the Archons. And despite the fact that MaxPax has 1,500 minerals in the bank and 700 gas, he couldn't warp in any units. But Solar did not like his position whatsoever. So he decided to go, well, he basically decided to go for 1 additional all-in for all the marbles. It didn't work out at all. The micro for MaxPax was pretty much flawless. And despite the really cute Overlord Highway, despite the Queen Potter... no, what do we call them? Portal potties? Porter pot... I don't know. We call them Dixies in the Netherlands. Don't think that's what you call them in English. Anyhow, cute plays from Solar. That actually doesn't make any sense in English at all. Mwah. Anyways, really clever series across the board, but I gotta say, in case you were wondering, just like me, does MaxPax still have it? He sure does. Yeah, phenomenal play. GG.